Welcome, political adrenaline junkies, to another unmissable episode of Badenoch News, the only channel that slices through British politics faster than a government aide dodging tough questions. Today, we're tackling a headline that's got more heat than a Westminster summer scandal. Sir Keir Starmer is about to host what some in the Conservative camp are dubbing, rather dramatically, a capitulation conclave with the EU. Yes, you heard that right. Is this the start of a bold new era, or the political equivalent of playing poker with your cards facing up? Before we peel back the layers on this story, make sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell, because if you like your news with a twist, you won't want to miss what happens next on Badenoch News. Now, picture this. The paint's barely dry on the door of number 10, and our new Prime Minister is rolling out the red carpet for the first UK-EU summit right in the capital on May 19th. No big deal. Just the entire future of British trade hanging in suspense while Starmer is still figuring out how to work the Downing Street coffee machine. The opposition is already fanning the flames, warning that cozying up to Brussels could sink hopes of clinching a meaningful trade pact with the United States. But, wait, didn't we already snag a deal with America? Well, let's dig into that diplomatic drama. We're told the recently unveiled US trade agreement is historic. But how historic can a 5-page, non-binding document really be? That's right. The much-hyped deal is about as substantial as a politician's promise before an election, flimsy and mostly theoretical. Shadow Trade spokesman Andrew Griffith claims this so-called achievement does little more than shuffle the paperwork, leaving British exporters staring down steeper tariffs than they faced at the start of the year. Imagine throwing a huge party to celebrate your new kitchen, only to discover you've actually lost the oven. The government insists more is coming, but right now the only thing that's binding is the folder they've put the agreement in. And just as you're about to write this off as another diplomatic dud, the Bank of England wades in. Governor Andrew Bailey, never one to shy away from controversy, urges the government to get as close to Brussels as possible, an idea about as popular with Brexiteers as suggesting fish and chips should be eaten with a fork. Enter Lord Frost, the Brexit architect himself, who dismisses Bailey's assessment with the kind of polite disdain only British politics can muster. Is this economic wisdom or wishful thinking? The plot thickens. So what's actually on the table at Starmer's upcoming summit with the EU? We're hearing whispers of permanent alignment with Brussels on key standards, especially in agriculture. Translation: Britain might end up following EU rules without having a real say, like paying for a magazine subscription that never lands in your mailbox. There's also talk of a new youth mobility scheme, creating fresh opportunities for young Europeans to work and live in the UK. Is this the return of freedom of movement, or just its distant cousin popping by for a visit? And for those of you who enjoy a side of nautical drama, get this: London may be ready to grant French boats long-term access to British fishing waters. Will British fishermen be left waving at foreign trawlers from the shore? Or is this a masterstroke to keep the peace, and the cod, flowing? Chief Secretary to the Treasury Darren Jones insists, with unwavering optimism, that the UK can forge deeper ties with both Washington and Brussels. But can you really dance with two superpowers at once without stepping on any toes? Or is this just setting the stage for another diplomatic faceplant? So here's the million-pound question. Is Starmer about to pull off an international balancing act worthy of a standing ovation? Or is he walking a tightrope with no safety net? Could these talks shape the future of Britain's place in the world, or leave us caught between two giants, with little to show for it but empty promises? We want to hear from you. What would you put on the negotiating table if you were in charge? Should the UK cozy up to Brussels, or keep its eyes fixed on Washington's handshake? If you're hungry for more cliffhanger and inside scoops from the heart of Westminster, don't just sit there. Smash that subscribe button like a backbencher at PMQs. Stick with Badenoch News, where we cut through the noise, decode the drama, and serve up the political truth with a side of wit. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and above all, stay tuned.